To come across more confident than you actually are takes just 5 things, and they're not that hard to do. Now, confidence is natural to some people. Other people, they're naturally shy and timid and quiet, and that's okay. So let me tell you some things. If you're slumped over, okay, it's kind of hard to tell with my camera angle, but just say I'm slumped over, just like this. This kind of doesn't show much confidence, right? And I lower my voice. Or if I'm not looking at the camera or at you, it's kind of hard. There's just one eye, but I'll show you how to get over that soon too. If you're don't you got don't do that. That's bad. Okay, that is lack of confidence to me. When you're talking with someone also and you act that way, you're not going to be very interesting to talk to or to have anyone want to listen to you. So confidence is a very important thing. Your posture, your eye contact, your voice, the words you use, and a bonus step that I'll be telling you about right after that will all bring it together for you. Then from there, you just need to practice. Okay. And you have to be consistent. You can't do it one time and not 3 others. You have to practice this every single time until it becomes totally natural for you. And again, I'm going to show you how to do this. Let's start with our posture. Now, I'm not standing. I usually stand when I shoot my videos, but when I'm doing the lives, I'm sitting. One of these days, I'll get it set up so I can stand because it's more comfortable for me. When you sit in a chair, put your feet flat on the ground. Okay, I can't show you my feet. I'll have to put cameras all over the place so you can see my feet. Once your feet are squarely on the ground, it's a little bit harder to squiggle. Okay, my feet have to come off the ground. I go up on my toes, the ball of my feet. This is squiggling. Okay, other things squiggling is this. This is the itchy, you know what syndrome. Don't do that. If you're on camera, you can move your hands around, but be careful of the squiggle. Okay, I see this a lot. This is just people forget that they're doing this. Again, I've seen 2,000 speeches on camera, and believe me, when people squiggle, it drives me nuts. Don't squiggle. Okay, feet flat on the floor. Don't move. The same thing if you're standing. When you walk up to that podium, get to the point where you're comfortable at that podium. Not that you're leaning over for very tall people. Just get to a point where you're comfortable. Put your feet flat on the floor and then lock them in the cement. Okay. Do not move them if you're at a podium, especially if you're on camera at a podium. If you're on stage, totally different. I could cover that another time. I've done some stage performance where you're walking and behind a podium and where to stand. It's a whole nother ballgame. For this, we're just talking about sitting and talking behind a podium, as if you're talking in my class, delivering a speech where I have my students stand behind the podium, not off to the side, but at the podium. Unless it's another speech, then they're going to be by the PowerPoint, and that's coming up for them in 2 weeks. The other thing, when your posture is here again, you want your head up, shoulders back. Don't put your head down like you're checking your cell phone, okay? Or you're holding your notes. If you have to have notes, find a way to hold them up. Now, if you're taller, there's not much you can do. They're going to be up. You can't help it. If you're shorter, you get to hide. Not bad. All right, eye contact. It is a very, very important thing. If I'm looking over here and I'm doing that news thing they tried to do, and oh yeah, they stopped doing that, I think because it wasn't good. I don't want to be the third person in the room. I want to be the second person in the room looking at you, the person. Okay, that's how it should be, at least to me. That's my personal opinion. Now, how can we do that? Let me show you my smiley guy. I keep this by my big camera up here. He can't go in the way of my other camera because, well, I just know it's a bigger black guy here, but up there, I have nothing to look at. So I keep my smiley guy there. So if you do that, now the other thing is I don't want to put a hole in his head, but if you do something bigger of a picture that you like, cut out a little eye or a big eye and then paste it right over the camera. So you're looking right into the face of your smiley guy or your favorite person that you like to look at, or if you have a favorite pet, and talk to them. It'll help increase your eye contact, which is again, is helping your confidence. Okay. It shows at least on the camera. Now, in a live situation, it's easier if I'm in a classroom, but basically you want to scan the whole room as you're talking, and you can use a Z pattern. You can use row by row. What you shouldn't do is look at one person, then the other, 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 because that's exactly what it looks like. Okay. And it looks really silly. When I demonstrate this, I'll have 24 people in the classroom and I'll actually do that. And I will make eye contact with every single person. And it's usually laughs and giggles. But when it's a speech, don't do that. Find a way to look up. Don't just keep staring at the same person in the front row. We tend to sometimes gravitate towards a friend or somebody with a smiley face, or we pay attention to somebody in the back row, or if you were ever in a choir or theater, you look over the heads of everybody. And if I look over the top of my camera, you can kind of tell it looks kind of goofy. So again, you got to practice it. Make eye contact. It will definitely increase your self-confidence. The next thing is your voice. If you have a very quiet voice, and I have students that have a very quiet voice, and you have a microphone, get a little bit closer, but not too close because then it just looks silly for one thing. The other is it could distort. Okay. And people, as they tend to get closer to a mic, get quieter and quieter and quieter. Don't do that. What I want you to do is if you're doing a live speech in a classroom, I want you to get into that classroom when allowed, when you can, with a friend. Have your friend go sit in the very back row. Usually these rooms aren't going to be too big. If it's a 100-person room, you're going to have a mic. Then if you can access that mic, if the teacher will let you do it, or maintenance or security for that matter, in some colleges or universities, high schools, then you can do that. But let's just say it's a normal 25 to 35-person room class. Have them go sit in the very back. Then you go up front to the podium where you would be delivering your speech from, not halfway, not off in the corner, but where you're going to be delivering your speech from, and have a conversation with them and have your friend tell you more down. No, I can't. What you'll hear if they lean and they're like giving you the clues, the body language that you need to be louder, learn to be louder. Okay. You just have to talk to them from a distance. One of the things that I like to tell people in a conversation, if you're very quiet, talk to somebody like they're 10 feet away. Now, that's not yelling at them. It's just raising your voice enough so somebody can hear you plainly at 10 feet. Because people sometimes tend to think, oh, they're closer, I could talk quieter. Well, if there's background noise, talking quieter might disappear for some people. And for those of you that are still wearing the, you know what, you need to talk much louder. Okay. I need lips to help me see because my hearing's not so good anymore. And when I can't see lips, I need to hear it way better. Okay. So this is a very important thing. We've forgotten this over a couple years. So please remember that for people that do not have the same hearing that they used to have. The next thing is your words. Or taking too long of a pause are considered not good. Okay. There are certain newscasters I used to watch. I can't watch them anymore because of the uh, uh, uh. Seriously, they get paid. I don't know how many six figures, 3, 4, 500,000, $1 million a year. Doesn't matter. Should not be in their vocabulary. My personal opinion. But if you hear anybody doing that, you know who they are, and they're hard to listen to. Some people don't hear it. I hear it. It's maybe a pet peeve of mine from being in radio, but to me, it's very, very irritating. The other thing is big words. If you're going to use what we used to call the $2 words with inflation adjusted, we'll call it the $10 words now. If you use big words and you see people in the audience go, huh? Or they're Googling it on their phone, right? You need to explain what the word means. If I say, I am not trying to obfuscate with you, okay, that means I'm not trying to twist or I'm not trying to misconstrue or I'm not trying to lie to you. Give them an example. That way you're helping the audience get a little bit more educated about what you're talking about. And it doesn't feel to them that you're talking in a condescending way. And condescending is talking down to somebody. See how that works? So explain it. Don't assume they know the words. You may know the words or the words that you just learned. And by the way, I have a lot of words on this channel. If you look for that playlist, you can find them. You can definitely use some new words, but remember to explain them, and especially with acronyms. Now, the fifth final bonus that I talked to you about is something that ties this all together, and that is watching more videos, especially the one that is probably way up here that YouTube is showing you right now, because YouTube thinks that's the one that's going to help you the most. Be confident, be bold, and remember to practice these tips, and definitely check out that video. Until we see each other again, I'll see you online soon.